last day of winter, if you're not counting solstices. And it kind of feels like it here in the Bay today because it is grey, it is rainy, it is wet. And as you can see on the screen, I'm looking a little bit elusive and dark and laughing because as I realised I was in full screen, you can see my unmade bed behind me. Oh, we just descend into chaos as the week goes along. But that's okay because it's all going to be put right tomorrow. And that's why I've got my mistress and partner in crime of all things chaos, the fantastic Claire, our ops manager at Skeinz.
Morning.
Good morning. God, you and I, honestly, it's week 2. We're starting to lose it. Or is it week 3?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
losing track. Like week 2. We've done 2 weeks. 2 weeks today.
Yeah, that's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Gosh, I couldn't bear it. The regeneration game, Claire and I, I've had to go for the hat today. I can't do it anymore.
I can't do hats. I'm just going grey. I told the kids I'll be Gandalf by the end of this.
I know. It's just like, oh, I know, but that's all right. It's okay. I'll cope. Oh, see, now my hat's all crooked. There we go. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's the trouble. It's reversed.
I know, it's all reversed. Yeah. It's just, oh, no, it's open. Well, good morning, everybody. Good to see you all coming in this morning. So the reason I got Claire along this morning is we thought we would talk about the Knit August Nights, postponed Knit August Night sale, which is going to start tomorrow. If you are eagle-eyed and you've been on the sale page, you'll notice that there have been some new things crop up on there because I've been
quite a few.
Yeah, quite a few that I've been up early this morning loading stuff up, and I've got more to do. We've been talking about that this morning. We thought we would cover off some of the stuff that's going to be on. We'll talk about what the prices are going to be. You guys are going to get the first news of this. You're the first people we've told. So go you. That's your reward for tuning in every day. We're going to talk about that. We got some projects. Actually, Claire was really good. She did some prep and sent some projects through, which then, of course, I've now gone and turned my email off. So I better put, oh gosh, wrong one. Oh, good grief. It's one of those days today, I tell you. Right, let's just reopen the email so I can get that there. And stuff. We'll talk about stuff and questions. Any question? Oh, and just the whys and wherefores of how the sale will work, because there are just to remind people, but also too, there's a couple of little quirks that have been thrown up because of level 3 and level 4, obviously for Auckland. So we'll talk about that. And yeah, that's us this morning. Gosh, everyone is barreling in. Kathy, bless. Kathy has already put the link to the sale page up there. We're trying to be really good with this sale and throw everything onto the sale page. So it does mean that I think we're up to about 8 pages now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I gave up looking at it last night.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I know what's there.
It's a lot. So we're up to about 8 odd pages. And there's a lot to see. There is a lot to see.
Check
Jenny,
it out beforehand.
Will you be having the needles in your sale? No, the short answer to that is, Jenny, we won't. And the reason for that is because of our current stock at the moment is very low. If we'd had better stocks, we would have. But they're not as, they're actually below kind of the level we're comfortable with, aren't they, Claire?
Yeah.
And we've got more straights. We've got more of the beautiful wooden needles coming in. They are literally en route now, so we were hoping they'd be here in time, but they aren't. So, but we have got more stocks of those coming in and in smaller sizes. But fear not, there's always other sales. Don't worry. So good morning. I'm just making sure I'm not missing any other questions before we get started. Right, very good. Oh, look, everyone's here. Patty's even here. Yay. Okay, so tomorrow we're starting at midnight.
Who's staying up late?
Yeah. Are you guys going to have a stay up late party? I just pray that I've loaded it correctly. I know you've done some. I know.
That's on you.
I fuck it up every time. All I have to say, if something looks a little bit too good to be true, it probably is.
Probably is.
I know. And the fact that we've had to go in and change it twice.
Yeah, and we're only human.
Yeah, I know.
Things happen.
So that's the first thing that I'm going to say. I have done some randomized checks across different ranges, and it looks good. So that's thing one. Thing two, I saw a question on the speakeasy yesterday that talked about preloading carts. So this is one thing that I will say about preloading carts. Don't do it. And the reason I say don't do it is because your cart preloads at the pre-sale price, and the sale price won't refresh an update on the stock that's sitting in the cart, which means that when you go to check out, you get frustrated and you're saying, well, why isn't the sale price there? And it was because your cart was preloaded before the sale prices went live. So I can definitely say, do not preload your cart, because that's not a good idea. The other thing that I can say, I mean, this is, we may as well jump straight into the troubleshooting portion of sale logic at Skeinz. The other thing that I'll say is we quite often get the biggest question, number one question we get asked is the prices are not showing correctly, or why can't I see them? And that is generally because of the cookies and the history, your browser history. So the one thing Claire and I can most definitely say works 99.9% of the time is
clear your browser.
And
or sometimes restarting will work. But clear your browser history generally works. Clear your
restarting
cache.
your device works, and all else fails, change your browser.
Yeah. So generally, any pricing issues we pick up pretty fast.
Yeah.
But so if it's looking wrong to you, try all those things first. Otherwise, by the time we get round to being able to answer an email, the stuff could be sold out, because a lot of the time 99% of people are seeing the right price and buying it, and if you're not, and you're sitting there waiting for an answer, it could be gone before we get a chance to get back to you. So try all those little tricks first.
And we get snowed in with emails, and we're all sort of working at doing other things,
especially at the moment.
So really do try those tricks first. So clear your browser, restart your device, try a different browser. If you're using Chrome, go to Edge. If you're using Safari, try Firefox. There is a whole Opera is another one. There's a whole different things, and it's just, they're just little greeblies that get in there, and that we find closes it out. Janet, hey Janet. Janet's asking, have we got everything loaded now? The short answer to that is no. I've still got some stuff that I'm going to show you that I haven't yet loaded up, because Claire and I were still negotiating on the price that we were going to load it up at, and we've actually gone, we're going to load it actually at a really good price, better than what we initially planned. Teresa is saying the good news is she's in Australia, so it's 10 p.m. for her. I'm really glad you're here, Teresa, because, and I saw Sian was in there as well, which I know is across the pond. The half price delivery to Australia up to 2 kilos is still in play with DHL. I think the thing that we have figured out, haven't we, Claire, is that they're actually better off to do two separate orders, aren't they? Up to that.
I guess you would be. So you do 2 orders at 2 kilos each, and I guess you might even slip under the radar as well with coming through customs and stuff.
Yes. So
rather than one big one.
Yes, and I know you will say to us, well, that seems really counterintuitive. Why would we just not put it in a bigger box? It's the way that DHL price the volumetric in our boxes, and the bigger the box, it's more exponential on the price. So we're actually better off to send 2 smaller boxes separately, and you pay that half price shipping, than you do the bigger box and it sort of roll out at the different price. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what we've figured out. So yes, so, and I think it works at it, then it's right up to just below that 2 kilo mark. So do which is like pretty much 40 balls of yarn. So it's a lot of yarn. Right, just going through. Excellent. Yes, and so that's going to be going.
I see Michelle's asked if she can buy. She's in Auckland.
Yes.
So you can buy, and we're allowed to send out. One thing we've been advised is if it's going to a business address, you need to put instructions on where it is to be delivered, because a lot of businesses are not open in level 3. So the courier have advised if the business is not open, it will be returned to us, and we will need to pay another delivery fee. So anybody who has an Auckland address, going to a business address in Auckland that isn't level 4, make sure you put extra instructions onto there exactly where it is to be delivered to, like, knock on the door and someone will answer, or leave at the front door or something like that. So because if it gets delivered to us, we will have to charge you again for delivery, unfortunately.
And that is also goes for when you're doing your orders, like if you're a frequent flyer and you've ordered before, generally the browsers will hold a lot of that history there, and it will just repeat what you did the last time round. So that goes. So if you are someone that routinely gets something delivered to a business, you need to check that. So you may want to get that rerouted to a home address, or leave very specific instructions on where that parcel is to be left for the courier if the business isn't apparently open, but there is someone on site, for example. And you can do that in the comments section. The other thing with that too is if you are someone who usually does click and collect in store, we're not doing click and collect. It just means that in order to do click and collect, we have to have resourcing of somebody sitting in the shop, and the shop is closed, whereas we actually need that resourcing out in the warehouse. And because of the nature of how our warehouse is situated and our neighbour, which we share a yard with, we can't have public access through there during level 3. So click and collect is not happening again until level 2. So if you are a local, we do have, and when I say local, Napier, Hastings, Havelock North, we do have a local, you'll see a Hawke's Bay locals fee for courier, which is less than our normal $5.95. Do use that. But as I said, if you have used click and collect in the past, before you check out in haste, just check what your courier setting or your delivery setting is. And if it is under click and collect, you need to change that to local delivery before you check out, because otherwise you won't get charged the delivery fee, and it will just go straight. We'll pack it and it'll sit in the shop until you're at level 2. Now, if you're happy to just have it sitting with us until we go to level 2 in a couple of weeks, like you're in no hurry for it, good as gold. We'll just have it all picked up for you, and it'll be ready for when the shop reopens. We're quite happy to do that. So so that's another little courier quirk for you. The other thing too is just remember, and we got this from last time, is that the first sort of 4 or 5 days post level change is a little bit like, as our courier driver said to us last time, it's kind of a bit like Christmas for them.
I think it was even worse than Christmas last time.
Worse than Christmas, yeah, because of the backlog. So we just be aware that even though we are pretty much up to date with our picking and packing, just be aware the deliveries may not be. So the couriers may actually take an extra day or two to turn things around. I have to say, New Zealand couriers, ex-Napier, getting things out of Napier are amazing, but in a lot of instances a good chunk of our parcels do go rural delivery, so there's that handover between the courier and rural, and I know that New Zealand Post have had delays. So just if you're putting an order in and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get it the next morning like I usually do, or 2 days later, it may just take an extra few days. And before that happens, don't jump on the email to us straight away saying, where's my parcel? I haven't seen it, because chances are it will actually turn up within a couple of days. With a lot of those emails, we'll be honest, won't we, Claire? We will actually wait. Because I would say 80 to 90% of people who send us an email of that are trying to track their parcel. It does actually arrive within 24 hours of sending that email. If you don't get, so we will send a shipped email as soon as that email will go out with the tracking.
So you get your confirmation email as soon as you've received your order's been placed. If you don't get that, go and check your junk mail, because we are finding that sometimes it's going to people's junk mail, so they don't know that their order is confirmed. So just go and check in there, your junk or your spam, and then once it's left us, you'll also get a tracking email with your tracking link on it, so you can follow it yourself. So there probably will be delays. I mean, it'd be silly to think there's not, and we will take a little longer than normal because of the number of orders, but we will have 2 packing teams working on it, so we are doing everything we can to get stuff out as fast as possible.
And usually with sort of regular sort of volume, we generally, oh gosh, I've got fluff in my nose. Usually with regular volume, we generally just have Damien on his own, and sometimes with plus one more, whereas we will be having more than double. So, and Claire and I pretty much will be still, because of the level 3 rules, mostly stuck in our respective bubbles here. So trying to navigate from afar, which isn't as much fun, I have to say. Sian's asking, is the Noir in the sale? Most definitely, Sian, is the answer to that. So we're going to get onto that in a little bit. Patricia was saying, for most of us, it's FOMO rather than urgent delivery. Hey, I'll tell you something funny, Patricia. When you have never seen a consignment tracked as closely as the consignment for this was tracked by someone over there.
I was desperate.
Oh,
Like a bit of lockdown, and I'm like, where is
it was like, how many times have you refreshed that tracking page?
it? We got it. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know, it was so funny. Like, and then when she found out that it had landed, like physically landed in the country and was being cleared through main freight, I swear, if she had a GPS on the main freight truck to follow it down the island, she would have. It was hilarious.
Our boss was like, "Oh, I'll sort it out. I'll get it sorted." I was like, "Just let me do it. Let me do
it." And then finally, Claire said to me, I think we need to take that responsibility away from him. He needs to delegate. He's got enough on his plate. I'll look after it. I'll look after it. And then who was the first? Because we were allowed. So under level 4, before people go, we are allowed to receive goods under level 4. So we had, but you've got to have specific times. There's a protocol that you have to do. So Claire goes to organise and do it, and then Peter then caught wind that was coming. We also needed to have someone with a forklift license, which Claire doesn't have, but he does. So instead of Davey and Peter was like, I'll go.
Yeah, we're like kids in a candy store opening it.
So that FOMO is actually, we get it too. So
big time.
We are genuinely excited about things. It's because we are really excited about it. Right. Yes, lots of questions about what's going to be. Alison saying plus your teens need to be able to work safely. Absolutely. Actually, and we'll cover a bit about that. Actually, the beautiful and the thing that we're so lucky about with our setup, and some of you have actually seen our warehouse. It's huge. We've got a massive big warehouse, and we are able to maintain 2 meter social distancing. And in fact, that's how we work normally.
That's
anyway,
normal for us.
That's situation normal, because of the way that the picking and packing is structured. The 2 teams are working at 2 separate workstations, which are about 10 meters apart.
10-15 meters. Yeah,
about 10 meters apart, 10-15 meters apart, and one is at a sort of a workstation doing scanning, and the other one is sort of hovering, and actually, in fact, most of the time they're maintaining at least a 3 to 4 meter.
Well, generally you've got the packing station, then there's actually a barrier in between that person and the next person, so we're definitely keeping our distance.
So that's one of the nice things we're able to maintain. And Claire and I are sort of staying well out of the way. They don't like me there anyway, because apparently I like to change things and meddle.
Well, you can still do that from where you are.
I know. Yeah. I do it quite well. Right. There's a few questions about what's going to be in the sale and stuff. So I think we should cover some of those off, and because you'll see them on the sale page. And I think the first one we'll cover off is the vintage, because vintage is fun.
You've got it there, eh?
I've got hold on, my really exciting looking box with my knitting in the top, which I haven't done anything this morning. Right.
So we've got the vintage that you've all seen before.
Yes,
in the sale. So
I've got the new stuff here.
The vintage DK, the vintage abroad DK, and the vintage abroad 10-ply. So that's all in the sale. But then we've got these new little numbers.
So then we've got now some new 10-ply which we have done in-house. So this is the vintage. This is our new vintage 10-ply, and we've done a special collection which we called the Noir collection, because they've all been done. And I'm just going to make sure I've got all the colours. I'm missing one. What am I missing? That one. Right. So we did a special base. This is the base yarn here. I'm just trying to do it. So
the base is stunning. Like, I love the base.
Yeah, the base is gorgeous. Oh, hold on, let's hold it back. So
it's a real mild kind of silvery grey.
Here we go. That's a better one. So as you can see, this beautiful soft silvery grey. Now, because I've had to photograph these, I'm no Steph, is all I have to say. That's why we had Steph do them. But these will be going up to Steph next week. So you've got my photos. I'm pretty actually proud of how good all the colours look, but I will say that the 2 greys are not as good as I would have liked. But this is, as you can see, a beautiful silvery grey. In fact, it's very, very close colour-wise to Southlander silver, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is stunning. It's got a lovely gentle marl in it. It is beautiful. So we've got this. So this is called Cagney, and all of them, you'll see the theme. with the names. This is Cagney, so this is in DK and 10 ply.
So they're all in DK and 10 ply, aren't
All
they?
in DK and 10 ply. And then this was the one that I struggled, in fact, the most with the colour. I don't know why. But anyway, and this one is just, so this is sort of that same base, but with just a wee bit more grey over it. So there is, as you can see, when you put the two of them together, one is definitely darker than the other. So this is Bogart, and Bogart's, so this is sort of a real silver grey, pewter silver, whereas this one's more of a pewter grey, and so it has got a little bit of colour over the top. And we've done that quite deliberately, just so it sort of tones in with the other dyed shades. So that's Bogart. This blue, which is gorgeous, that's Brando, which actually looks quite bright there. It's actually quite, it's a lovely deep blue. This Monroe, I saw Sian mention this. This is Monroe. Monroe is gorgeous. Monroe, see, it looks again quite bright there. It's a really rich, saturated red. It's lovely. Much deeper. So this, we've got Sangria and Carmine. This is sort of like it's kind of like Carmine on steroids, really, isn't it? It's a really rich, deep red.
They're all quite rich bases, I guess, because they're over that.
Yeah. And see, this
similar,
is, and so this one is Bergman. But see, like I'm wearing Persian green. It is it is a different color because it's actually a lighter color, but been put over that base. So it's sort of,
that one sort of sits between the Persian and the Alpine, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yeah. Exactly. It's quite tonal. This is actually my favorite here. This guy, this is the Olivier, and the Olivier is oh gosh, it's got these balls that have been sitting here will become our sample balls, and it's because they've been at my house and been fondled and what have you. This is like it's purple, but a really rich sort of. It's not an aubergine; it's a warm purple, if that makes sense. It's really lovely. It's gorgeous. And this one is Hepburn, which is lovely. It's just like, this is such a sweet color, and of course, a lot of them are designed to work together. So they are all up, and all the vintage is going to be price wise.
Drum roll. Oh shit! I don't have the sheet.
Oh,
I don't have the price sheet.
You don't have the price sheet. $4 a ball. No, $5 a ball for $40 a pack. That's what it's going to be. $5 a ball, $40 a pack, which we then, which is great because that's $4 a ball equivalent if you're doing a pack. If you're wanting to do full garments, like if you're wanting to do something like this, to be honest, just get 2 packs. So those emails, often 2 people will, this is back to sort of saving you time. We will often get an email or an inquiry come through saying, I want to knit such and such, how much will I need? And sometimes during sale, it can take us a while to get back and answer those. And by the time we've answered them, the item is sold out. So this is the Marie advice. If in doubt, buy 2 packs. You will be covered. 99% of the time you'll be covered because 2 packs will do even a large sized, fully cabled, all shooting, all singing and dancing sweater, for example, or cardigan. So if in doubt, if in doubt, buy 2 packs, and then that way you know you. I mean, that's $80 for 20 balls of yarn. That is still incredibly good buying, and that would just saves you from
There's also that there's a really basic wool calculator on that Jimmy Bean website.
Yeah.
So if you Google Jimmy Bean wool calculator, you can put in all your details, and it gives you a really basic like meterage of how much you need. So that is sometimes a really good guide. But just remember, if you're making it bigger, like longer, or putting cables in it, or changing the stitch, like moss stitch or anything like that, you need to add a bit more. So it is a good way to get a guide of what you're going to need. But yeah, always buy more because especially this stuff, it's a one-off.
Yep. And it's only coming out in a single batch. Anne is asking, how bright is this one here? I'm assuming this is what you mean by the jewel color. It's not as bright as Diva. So if you're wanting a really bright jeweled pink, Diva is richer and brighter than this. This is more sort of old screen sort of, yeah, it's bright but not really super bright. Diva is brighter than this if you're wanting to get a comparison. The other question that is there, is my jersey done in vintage? Yes, it is. So this is Persian green. This is oatmeal from Libby. I just threw it on today because it's that sort of day today, and I had a hat that matched. I was being coordinated, and it needs a deep hill. Oh, see, I haven't deep hilled this ever, and I thrashed this one. See, this is where, so just looking at that, actually, this is where, and a sweeter stone is, actually, I should save this. And if we
do a live demo,
we'll do a live demo with the sweeter stone, and I'll show you how well that, because I've got one here, how well that works. Yeah, Sean's saying buy them in 2 lots for DHL freight. Yeah, I would. So 2 kilos is the cutoff on the DHL, Sean, for the half price. So we'll just up to 2 kilos. So that's essentially 4 packs. So if you work on anything, if you're going to do more than the equivalent of that, I would do it in 2 separate orders, because we've worked it out that if you go slightly, the next break, I think, is I can't remember whether, I think they're in 500 gram breaks or 1 kilo breaks, but it's just the way that it works. It's quite a jump. You're actually better off to do, if you're going to get a bit, instead of doing 1 big parcel, you're better off to do 2 small parcels to get that half price. Right, good. Mika is asking, looking for 4-ply for colour work, what would you recommend?
Bandit.
Yeah, definitely Bandit.
Little Bandit.
Little Bandit and Southlander Sport is great for colour work. Also, we have got South Sockmatician in the sale. That's not treated, so that will work for colour work. I know you did. I've done
floozy in that.
Done floozy,
and it's been great.
And it was
probably the thing I wear the most. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And so Sockmatician, while we're on that, $7.95 a ball. See, we don't do Sockmatician for $7.95 a ball very often. And
Get in quick.
Did the delivery come in? I think it has come in, or it should come in. Claire's going to have a look. So there was one colour we were out of stock of, which was the delivery, but we just before the lockdown we saw it coming through balling. So fingers crossed that might sneak in.
Oh, not quite. The 4-ply's in, but not the DK.
Oh, there you go.
But we could get it next week. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're doing.
The mill's up and running tomorrow as well.
The mill's up and running, and I know that they've prioritised everything for us. Actually, we could add that to the priority list for the team. So that's great. So yes, it's a very good question. So where did we get to? Yes, so vintage, $5 a ball, $40 a pack. The other pack, so that's 1 pack promotion. We do have a 2nd pack promotion. At this stage, I've only loaded up 3 because that's what we've got. We will know some of these may come later in the week. So the sale starts and it goes Wednesday to Wednesday. These are the 3 that I've got, and these will go really fast. Like really fast. So these are some merinos. They machine washable merino. They're absolutely gorgeous. We've got 1 and a 4-ply. I've only got 1 at the moment, which is this beautiful 2-fold 4-ply here. And then we've got these fabulous wrap yarn 4-plies, which are so soft.
Those are 10
plies. What am I talking about? 10 plies, of course. Duh. This stuff is lovely.
It's
really
so soft.
So soft. It feels so good.
Actually, it'd make a lovely blanket.
It would, like a great blanket. A great blanket. Or if you're doing a wrap or anything like that. We've been able to offer this at an exceptionally good price.
Is it live yet? It's not on there yet, is it?
No, I haven't. No, because I wanted to.
Maybe we tell them that secret later. When we've got it all.
Oh, that's so
keep
mean,
them guessing.
You're mean.
I know, but we've got to keep them. We can't let all the cats out of the bag.
She's so mean. Well, it's really good. The price is like
really good.
Really
but it won't be there until we can get the rest out of the mill, which hopefully could be the end of this week.
Yeah, we load that all at the same time, you reckon? Yeah,
I reckon load it all, and then you can let them know the price just before it goes live.
True. So this is what I will tell you though. This one, 83 meters per ball. So ostensibly any pattern that you're looking at for 10 ply, this one will work for. And there was that new Angela Maori pattern. I can't remember the name of it. This might work for it. Ethan and I talked about it Saturday week ago. And this one is your classic 4-ply. So this one's 66. So this one, these 4-plies for charity knitting, no brainer. So if you're a charity knitter, yeah, you need to have honestly fingers on buzzers with these. Chances are these may not get loaded up until the weekend. So don't panic if you have to put 2 orders in, okay? It's not the end of the world. I think our record for epic sale is we have had someone make a dozen orders once before.
Yeah. For $5.95 shipping, two orders is worth it.
Yeah, it's
3 orders
worth
is worth it.
So
keep going.
But don't sort of wait. Like, don't think, oh, I'll just wait till the other stuff comes in, because we sell so fast. Trust me, you don't want to do that. So these will all go up together, and it'll probably be the weekend once we know what's happening with them.
And so the rest of the colours are all in the same vein, so they're all those soft pastel-y kind of shades.
So gelato. That pink and wisteria that I showed you there, the pinks, they're also in that 4-ply. That blizzard is going to be in the 10-ply. I think they're all.
Yeah. So they've all got, each shade's got a 4 and a 10.
Yeah. Lynn Brown saying, what's it called? It's just going to be called Skeinz 10-ply, Skeinz Merino 10-ply, and Skeinz Merino 4-ply, because we can't. It's
going to sell so fast it doesn't need a name.
Yeah, and we can't sort of, like, it's a yarn that we've sort of we did actually manufacture that yarn back in the day. It went out to a supplier. It had been with the supplier for a very long time, and then that supplier is no longer around, and so we've actually bought all the undyed stock back and pop it up. Margaret's saying, can we borrow Claire's credit cards? Funny. Yeah, so it's just going to be, it'll be on there. Those, to be fair, I will probably make sure that when those get loaded, they're sitting at the top, within the top of the page, to make them easy to find for you, because all the other things, like the vintage, for example, has its own separate product pages. The sale prices appear on both. So if you're just wanting vintage, you might find it easier to search the vintage on its own product page. Actually, when it comes to combining orders too, this is the second most popular email that we get after I can't get the prices to show, is, can we combine orders? The short answer to that is,
don't even ask. I don't mean to be rude, but when you've got a cage full of 200 orders, we just don't, and you've got another 1,000 waiting to be packed, we just don't have the manpower to look through a cage for one order. And it's not just that, it's this, everything in our systems need to be changed. It's, combining orders is just not possible, unfortunately.
No. It used to be back in the bad old days when we were much smaller. But now, and when we do a pick list, we're not picking everything that's come in. It's generally, it's a pick list, 50 orders at a time? Is it usually
50 to 100? Yeah, it just depends. What
so
we're doing,
if we're receiving hundreds and hundreds of orders in the early part of a sale. So, and if we've got 2 teams too, it could be split across 2 teams. And with COVID, we just can't do it. Like, we just can't have people rummaging through things. It's just,
And the couriers can do multiple pickups in a day, so it can get, it's not as straightforward as when we're only getting, little amount of orders.
Michelle just went needle, haystack. That's exactly it.
Exactly what it is.
Michelle, you have hit the nail on the head.
And you can imagine how frustrating it can be for the person looking as well.
Yeah.
Especially when you've been through everything and can't find it. You've got to start again.
Yes. So
there's a few unsavory words dropped.
Yes. So then we just get to the thing sometimes that we just need to, cut our losses, really. Right. Back to the list. Is the lace is up on the page, isn't it? I can't remember.
Yeah,
because I moved so many of these. Yeah, I moved this weeks ago, so I forget. So the Cascade lace, $9.95, which is I think it's the only time we've not had this on sale.
No, I think we did once.
Oh, once was it?
Man, I would get your hands on it. It's going to be, that's another one that I think is going to go really well. It's such a nice product.
It's so beautiful.
The colours in it are stunning.
Yeah, and it's the one that I sold most of at the pop-up in Wellington. It was kind of like the sleeper hit of Wellington, the Cascade lace. It's really super soft. It's an alpaca lace, and it is just glorious. So you can use it on its own. We've had some projects done on its own, but it also is fantastic if you're looking for those double stranding options. And
there's so many of them now.
There are so many of them. And if you have a look at the colours that are listed, you are able actually to jump back across with Whisper Find or something else you may already have in stash for double double stranding, and there are so many different options in there, and it just sort of adds, a little bit more depth and strength if you're wanting to do that. And it's also for I think 400 meters of skein.
Yeah. So I've seen a couple of customers bring it in like a shawlette made out of it and like a lace, and it's so lovely. It's like really, really light, but like you can just feel it how warm it is in your hands.
Yeah.
They're just like, I've got some there to make one. I've just got to get the time. But really nice.
And we've also seen others double strand it too, and it is glorious, absolutely glorious. So I've seen it double stranded and worked actually like a sport weight, or even some double strand it closer to a DK, and it is amazing. It is so pretty. That is another yarn that has been discontinued from the supplier. So I think that we didn't quite take all of it from them. That
I think it's gone now.
It has gone now.
But,
so there you go. This is your last chance to get that. Oh, Kathy, if you're in Facebook, Kathy has just gone and popped that up. Deborah's asking, Whisper Fine plus Cascade, what weight would that equate to? Well, actually, if you're following the logic, for example, with Love Note, they're talking a lace weight plus the Whisper Fine. So you could, if you were looking for an option for something like Love Note, you could actually knit Love Note using Cascade lace plus Whisper Fine. If you're wanting, and that will give you a really beautiful gauzy sort of fabric. If you were wanting a more dense fabric, then I would knit it to a sport weight to a DK would give you what I would call more cover factor, or you could push it out to that.
That's the good thing with the mohair, they've got such flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right, that's a Cascade. Outlaw, because we had, so the good news is all Outlaw, Bandits, Bohemias, everything is 10% off across the board. We've got, So I know Outlaw, if you're a huge Outlaw fan, in which many of you in here are, we have got pretty good stocks of Outlaw. We're one of the few that do. In fact, Ethan's jealous because we've got more stock on some things than he has at his place, which does create friction with us because he gets quite protective. So, I know. But we've 10% on all Outlaw. So if you're wanting to stock up on Outlaw, now is the time. As you know, we don't do Outlaw specials very often. If
you're wanting in ages.
No, and see, Outlaw October's coming up. So this is our Outlaw October now. So if you're wanting, so what we've decided to do is do the special now. So I mean September, but it means that you can buy now and have your yarn all ready to cast on for Outlaw October 1. So
get ready,
so we're getting you ready. Rebecca's asking, Bohemia light and mohair for Love Note. Absolutely, actually, Rebecca. In fact, that will be really nice. It'll be a wee bit denser than the lace, and I actually think a wee bit denser in Love Note. It's a good idea. What did you do yours in?
I did mine in a 4-ply and a lace weight mohair. They were from Helene at Hibiginity.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
But then, like you said, we've had it done in Southland. Remember, Heather did hers in Southland the DK, or did she do it in the bulky?
No, bulky.
But I've seen it in a wide spectrum of weights. The Love Note is a really versatile pattern. You could just about pick up anything and knit the Love Note with it.
Yeah, exactly. That also brings us then to Whisper DK and Whisper Fine. They are both going to be $9.95 a pack, which is, we've not had it at that special before. So $9.95 when I say pack, Marie. Ball.
Get us in trouble.
$9.95 a ball. It's going to be one of those days.
Do I need to check?
Yeah, you probably do. Can you check that? Because I don't trust me. $9.95 a ball, so it's a good time to get that. Remember, 227 meters on the Fine, which is 25-gram ball, and it is I think it's 180, 178 on the DK. So that is good meterage on those. Naked Skeinz.
Some fun with that.
Yeah, Naked Skeinz. 20% off all Naked Skeinz. That's exciting.
And so if you're in Auckland and you're carrying on level 4, or if you're anywhere else and you're level 3 and kids at home, grab some Naked Skeinz and get them dyeing with some food colouring. Or we've also got the Ashford dyes. Yeah.
So Ashford dyes, $1 off all Ashford dyes. So if you're wanting to do some if you're wanting to do some dyeing at home, this is the time to do it. So 20% off all naked, $1 off all Ashford dyes. We've been stocked up on both. So great time to do it. Sue's asking, Whisper Fine price $9.95 a ball. So that is the price on that. Yep, $9.95 a ball. Louise, by accident, I put my Donegal tweed order into collect and store. So does it mean I can't add it to the Epic Sale order? No, I'm afraid, Louise, it does. Actually, can't. I'm afraid. Didn't think about the alert levels when you placed your order. Yeah. But in saying that, though, I mean, it can stay there, and then, or you could send us an email, and we can organise the local delivery code for you on that, and we can get them out separately. So we can do that too. Mika, she used food colouring on naked grades. Great result. Yeah, I mean, you've done it. You've
Great
played
fun.
Heaps, and Heather actually. Our Heather did a wicked project last year. Was it about this time last year? School holiday. Her and she's got the two most adorable daughters. Like, they're so adorable. And as a school holiday project, she took home a skein of sock yarn each for the girls, and food colouring, and each girl did their own hand painted sort of dyeing on the yarn, and then they dried them, and then she knitted up socks from the yarn that the daughters had painted for her mum for Christmas.
Hey, and you know what's coming up? Father's Day.
Ah, yeah, Father's Day, exactly.
If you can knit that fast, I think it's next week. Someone could have some handmade socks, or just the hank, and promise the socks later.
Yep. And also too, some natural dyeing as well. Don't be afraid to have a go with some natural dyeing. A lot of the bases that we've got are machine washable treated. The only thing I would say with natural dyeing, if you're doing on those superwash treated bases, is just make sure that you really do soak them for a good long time. I haven't done a huge amount of natural dyeing, but I have spoken to a number who have, and that is one of the big keys to it, is to make sure that things are really well soaked. So that is something that's really fun to do. So that's good. And last but not least, and that's what I've got everything on my list, and I think I haven't forgot everything. These are just two little randoms.
So we called one purple crystal and one dark crystal.
I wasn't feeling
Keep an eye out for
those. It was one of those days when I made those names up.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
I even said, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, she sure was. Yeah.
It'll do.
It'll do. These are gorgeous. These are definitely this is mohair, 80% mohair, 20% polyamide. This is old school big brushy fluff. If you want some old school big brushy fluff, 200 gram hanks. I think these will be around. I need to check the meterage. We need to work out the meterage. We've got to do that. That's one they're not loaded yet. Add that to the list. I think these will be around 400 meters per skein. If they are the
maybe.
Yeah. If they are the count that I think they are, they might be actually a bit more. We just need to double check that. These are what we call a delightful mill surprise. It's like
get a few of those.
And pantry surprise. This was a mill surprise. I think they were obviously doing some prints for people, and they just ran these through at the end of the prints. And they're lovely. And so these are loads. We've actually generally only have these in the shop. So those who are shop regulars, and we've got a few that are shop regulars and mohair regulars and love this. So this is why you would normally not see these online or in sale. We would usually not put these online. These are the sorts of things that go out in the shop. But because we can't be in the shop, these ones are going up online. Susan's asking, are they DK weight? To be honest with you, Susan, I personally think if it's what I think it is, you can knit it to a DK, but if it's what I think it is, I would actually knit it more to even, you could even go up to a like a 12 ply on that.
Oh, yeah. Like the old school 12 ply, yeah.
I think this is if this is the count that I think it is, it's the same count as our original Whisper back in the day.
We'll confirm it. though on the
but we
listing and
will
stuff.
confirm it. So I think it's, but again, this is the beautiful thing with mohair. As Deanna said the other day when we had her on, mohair is, you can't get too tied up in the gauge with mohair because there is so much that you can actually do. What else have we got there? Do you have any vintage truffle there to show you? No, I don't, because I'm at home and I've only got the stuff. So vintage truffle is, it is definitely, it's not as rich as a chocolate brown. It is sort of more like a milk chocolate. Does that make sense? It's definitely a mid color, not a sort of mid to dark, not super dark. Yeah.
Just trying to think what it compare to, but yeah.
Rebecca's asking, you're not a pain, Rebecca. You did say earlier in Skeinz Dairy, love loaf runs large. In terms of sizing, there is a bucket load of positive ease and love note.
And you can choose what ease you put into it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I pulled my ease back. What about you? Did you pull yours back or not?
I think I did the recommended ease because I was like, but I tell you what, I put a load more extra length on it because I'm not really a crop kind of person, and even the long one, I still added length to it.
Same.
Yeah. So if you're going to buy for the love note, check the pattern, and if you're like me and don't like things too cropped, I would allow 2 to 3 more balls just to add some extra length to the body.
Yeah, definitely.
Because that was one thing I remember doing. I was just knitting and knitting and knitting, waiting to get to a length that was wearable for me.
Yeah, I did the same too. I think I probably added about 10 centimeters to mine, and then I also put the sway back in as well.
Yeah.
So I did that with mine. I in terms of the ease, I didn't.
I can't remember.
I went back, like the size that I would, like if I were to take the bust measurement and do it on that on their recommendation and then plus ease, I would have been wearing a caftan. So I actually pulled it back by about half. So I knitted, I think, I knitted about, the size I knitted was like in the middle, like it was like, and when they bracket the sizes off, I think I was like one over into the next size up, which, I'm
I know,
22, so.
Yeah, I know Tin Can has a blog, and they have, if you go to it, there is a few breakdowns on knitting the love note, and one of them is about double stringing colours, and I'm pretty sure one of them is about the fit, so you can see how different amounts of ease look on different people. So check that out if you're wanting to see how it's like, whether more ease is going to look better on a certain body type or less. I think it's quite good.
Yeah, definitely. Price and quantity on the 12 plume mohair, Bronwyn's asking. The short answer to that, Bronwyn, is Claire and I ran out of time before we jumped on here, so that is to be confirmed. We're still in negotiations, but it will be, the one thing I can tell you is it will be exceptionally sharp because we only have a small amount of it, and literally it'll be price to clear, so it will be really, really, really good. Lynette's asking the scenario for local postage. So you need to be in urban Napier, Hastings, or Havelock North. So this is urban areas for those, so not rural delivery, urban areas, Napier, Hastings, Havelock North. And it is under, you'll see the options. It'll have nationwide courier, collect in store, and then you'll see local delivery. So if you're in an urban area, it will be in that. If you are in rural delivery, we may contact you because we will need a top up for the rural delivery.
Yeah, if you're an RD, just make sure you select the $5.95 postage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just your parcel will be delayed, because by the time it does take us time to get around to all that kind of stuff. So if you want your parcel quick, just select the $5.95.
Yep. Doris is asking, vintage abroad sangria, is it more a berry color or more a dark red? It actually sits on the cusp between the two, Doris, which isn't super helpful, but that's part of the reason why we chose it. It is because it is, and that's why it's called sangria. It's because it is a rich wine color. So but it does have sort of slightly brickier, redder tones to it, so it does definitely sit between. All the vintage colors often are really difficult to describe because most of them are chosen because they sit as what we call half tones. So they're tones that are not pure clean colors, like you see in many other colors. So this is sort of like a jadey bluey green, and they live, all the vintage shades live in the spaces in between, if that makes sense, and that's what makes vintage so fabulous. So and great for color work too. Oh, thank you, Kathy on the Facebook has gone and put up the link to that Love Note blog. Thank you, Kathy, appreciated. First time blocking lockdown, yeah. So I only have sewing pins. Will these be okay? Oh, totally, Donna.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I use.
Yep. Yeah, it's what I use too. I mean, gosh, sometimes I don't even use, if it's a sweater, I don't even often use pins. I'll just lay it out flat, depending on what it is. Is there a reason that there's a bunch of vintage 10-ply balls and pack listed on the DK page? It's quite confusing. Yeah, Athalia, it's because I loaded them all up this morning and I cloned them back off a DK item, and I just haven't had a chance to change out their. So I'm going to have to write that down now to do that. This is what happens.
It'll be fixed.
Yeah, it's to be fixed. This is what happens when you're cloning stuff. Move Noir. It'll be the Noir 10 plies to page. So thank you for that. So that's why that's there. I literally just loaded those up before we came live, so that's why I haven't had a chance to clean up the order of things yet. The vintage abroad DK Sage and the Aloe go well together. Sage and Aloe. Yes.
I think somebody put a picture on the speakeasy showing all the greens together.
Yes.
Not long, like within the last few days. So if you go and search that, go back onto the speakeasy and search that, it's a really good photo to show the difference between them all. I can't remember who put it up though.
Yeah, it was pretty, really. Yeah, and and we try and design that. So vintage is a range that we've spent a lot of time on, and it's designed that all the colours should actually intermingle and go well together. So that's yeah. And I would say because the Aloe and the Sage are definitely sort of softer. Yeah, they would look, and also good contrast too between the two of them. The third color that you could throw in there if you're looking for sort of some contrast, I mean, eggshell, which is the natural cream, always looks great. But the other color with those two that would look really good if you want something lovely and tonal is tea. Would look really, really nice with those two. Karen is asking, can you explain the Love Note, the sway back for the Love Note? So the sway back for the Love Note.
It's like a scooped back kind of thing.
It is like a scoop back, and I have explained this on previous ones before, but this is a really, really quick explanation, okay? So
it's a Marie explanation.
This is a Marie explanation, yeah. Yeah. I'm not Suzanne Bryan, I can tell you that right now. I am. And you've got to remember that often when I do these things, Karen, I am under the influence. This is Designs by Chardonnay. Okay? Right. Oh, gosh, this is probably not going to come. Oh, there we go. So if you can imagine that this is you're working in the round, you have your marker in one place, make sure you find the halfway point for the other side of working in the round. This is just before you're getting, so whatever the length is in at the front, you're happy with the length at the front, just before you edge a little bit of ribbing, this is when you're going to do this. And
make sure you've got your markers on the side, not on the front and back.
On the front and the back. So your markers need to be on the side. So you want a marker halfway underneath your underarm on one side, halfway on your underarm on the other. And then also make sure you're going to do this working on what is going to be the back. I have actually been under the influence and done this working on the front and had to undo it on the Goldwing. So, mistakes do happen, even from those of us that should know. Claire will tell you I was dark when I did that. Anyway, so what you're doing is, so when you'll be working around generally you work around the front first and then you go to work around the back stitches. When you get to start at the starting point to go around your back stitches, you work around your back until you get to about, usually I think on Love Note I did 4 stitches. You get until you get 4 stitches before the next marker. You're going to slip that next stitch, do a wrap and turn around, you're going to turn your work, you're going to purl back towards your original marker. Get to 4 stitches before that marker, wrap and turn again, and then you're going to head back, knit back around until you get to 4 stitches before the last wrap and turn. Then you're going to slip that next stitch, wrap and turn again. You see where I'm going with this, and you keep going. You keep going backwards and forwards like a metronome until you get to, I like to use, you can, if you're wrapping and turning and doing it in groups of about 4, then depending on how swayed you are, you want to either do 8 stitches, so 4 stitches either side of what would be the center points, which would be 8, or even do 16, but I think 8 usually works quite well. So you'll do your last wrap and turn, and then you'll have those what will be even number of wrap and turns either side, an even number of stitches in the center, and then you carry on all the way around. Again, you can pick up and knit those wraps if you wish. So that's a sort of, you can just, like, you'll see them there. So when you go to that slipped stitch, you actually, the wrap sort of sits around the front of it, so you can pick that wrap up into the slip stitch and knit both of them, which just sort of disappears it. You don't have to, but you can if you want. And then I work a full round. You don't have to, but I do. I have done that full round, make sure those wraps are all knitted and tidied away, and then I start my ribbing. So that's how I do my sway back. Do you shape towards the bottom of the garden, adding stitches a go? No, you're not adding stitches. So what you're doing is you're adding rows, not stitches. Oh, I see what you mean. Do I add stitches as I know, see what you're saying here in terms of the shape, in terms of an A-line. In Love Note, you don't need to. In Love Note, I have done on other garments, but in Love Note, you don't have to, because Love Note has got so much ease that there is plenty there. You won't need to do that. Whereas with Goldwing, I did do it, because if you ever look at a Jennifer Steingast pattern, she's about the size of a twig in a hurricane. She's nothing, and she's straight up and down like this. So I have added additional stitches through the torso to create an A-line to cover off my generous.
Well, that's good to know, because I've got a pattern here that I was going to do in the Kelly & Co. Yeah, and I might look at doing that.
Yeah,
she does mention about ease in it, but you don't want the whole thing to be huge.
Well, and that's the thing, and I look at it, one of the things that I do 2 things actually. One is if there's a pattern that I quite like the look of and I want to check out, what I will do is then I will look at other people that have knitted it, and I'll go and look at other body shapes of people that have knitted it. And and it's quite interesting, particularly if it's an older pattern and you've got, you generally find hundreds of people have made it. You can go through, and it's really funny because you'll go through and you'll see somebody that'll be a similar shape to you, and on some people it'll look fabulous, and on other people you'll think, oh, hun. And what I will often do is look at both of those and see what they've done, and you'll generally find that on the one that you're thinking, what they've done is they've not actually knitted the right size. They've often gone too big or way too small, one or the other. The size will be wrong. And quite often the one that looks really fabulous, they'll list out some modifications.
Yeah.
And they've done gentle modifications.
I'll show you this one here. I'm going to try this one with the Kelly & Co. I'm just not sure if I'm going to do a solid colour for the colour work or not. Or I might look at Pulse. But, yeah.
And see, I'm doing now Nanook, and this is the one I'm doing at the moment, which is this one here. And see, that's sort of an open swing cardigan. Now, I'm in 2 minds of whether or not I will add extra stitches if I were to do it up, but I'm actually probably going to be a no, because knowing me as I do, I'm going to wear this over a top of a dress or something that's already an extra layer anyway. So I won't bother. Whereas with a sweater, and interestingly enough, this sweater that I have here, which is Oatmeal from Libby, I've actually deliberately gone extra ease on this one because this is literally my roundhouse jumper. And this is part of her Chicken Lady collection. She has actually got waist shaping, a little bit of waist shaping built into this. And my first one I actually did a slightly smaller size than this one. I deliberately did this one the next size up. So the other one is more fitted, but it actually looks, because it's got this nice little bit of waist shaping in there. I do have a waist, so you wouldn't believe it. Sometimes you have to go on an expedition to find it, but it is there. So I've been told. So I do that little bit of shaping there. You've got a finished object because you picked it up before, and And I think
Well,
you
I
need to
think
show
I've
everyone.
shown you guys so far, but
Yay, it's finished.
finished. So yeah, real easy. I did this all in lockdown, and I don't get a lot of knitting time. Like I only knit at night time. Oh, jeez, this is reversed. It's so hard to see on this, but yeah, a really simple.
There it is. That's good.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the French twist.
French twist.
French twist. Yeah. And I'm just about to whip up one of these quickly, which is actually a free pattern. We've had it in the shop before. Baby Sunshine by Tennis. Real easy. I'm just starting that quickly before I do my Kelly & Co.
Yeah. Lane's asking, can you use Pulse DK with Kelly & Co, which is a template, Erin? Yeah, you probably could. The Pulse is smoother, and you'll be wanting to knit the Pulse up to like a 4.5 as a. You could pull the Kelly & Co back.
So I've done some swatching on the Kelly & Co, and I personally like it on a 4.5 better than a 4. The 4 was you could do it, but it was just I felt that it didn't it's quite an airy yarn, and you want it to show that, and you don't want that density to it. So the 4.5 seemed to do it the best. So I'm getting the pattern calls for 20 stitches per 10 centimeters, and I'm getting 19. So I'm happy with that, and I'm pretty sure I can get that out of the
And the pulse, like if you were to put pulse in there, often you're adding the pulse as your popper color. So and across color work anyway. So
might do a wee swatch and see how it looks with it.
Just do a little wee swatch on it. I might even actually, I haven't got any pulse.
Oh, I've got some.
Yeah,
I've got the samples.
So this is the problem. We're having to dig things out. Crazy. Now, I think we've covered everything off the sale. So as I said, it starts at midnight tonight. There will be a couple of other little extra surprises that will go up. And do check throughout the week because of now what's gone and happened with the mill, there is a little bit of a twilight zone sort of in terms of what potentially will be coming in later in the week. But as we said, don't be afraid to do multiple orders. Believe me,
it's normal.
There's a couple of repeat offenders in the chat here right now. I won't name and shame because we love them.
They're not offenders. They're
not offended at all because they do it all the time. It's just as we said, because we actually subsidise for many of you who send stuff on couriers, and at $5.95 we subsidise the courier price because believe me,
especially rural and stuff.
Especially for rural, we do not discriminate for those that don't live in urban areas, and that's been a hard and fast thing from us right from the beginning. And boy, if for all of you who are RD, you support us massively, and part of that is because we don't do that. And the same with North Island, South Island too. It's the same price regardless of where you are. So don't be afraid to have to put in multiple orders. The biggest thing is, particularly as things come up, we don't want you to miss out. The good news is we do have on the vintages pretty good numbers on those, so we're quietly confident that we won't have oversolds like we've had in the past. Yeah, that is Claire's number one headache.
Oh, I get so angry.
She does get very angry, and it's
that's when I ring my boss and say,
control. It's the way our website is designed. We've been working on getting a new website so to prevent this, but it's just we're not there yet. Michelle, lots of vintage colours go together. Yes, definitely. Actually, she'll post them side by side, bless. One of the other tricks actually I quite often do as well is you can take, if you're really wanting to check the colours out side by side, is if you go to our vintage colours, pull up the picture, you can actually save that and then make little collages if you're that way inclined with your little bit techie. That always helps in terms of seeing how colours look together. Because unfortunately, for some people in the past, we've literally gone into the shop and taken a photograph of how things look together and send it. We can't do that while we're in lockdown, I'm afraid. So we haven't got access. So that's another thing that you can do. Excellent. Oh, I love it, Morgay. I'm a serial offender too. See, owning it. We love it when our serial offenders own it. It's so funny. Very good. Right. I don't think we've got anything else, have we? Have I forgotten anything? What's on your list?
No, I think we're good. I didn't really have a list. I just made notes of things that need fixing.
Thank you, focus group.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
focus group,
great.
for finding things for us. And as I said, for tomorrow, like if you are staying up late and you do an order and you see something that looks the price that looks far too good to be true, it will be, and it will be a mistake, and we may be knocking on your door saying, "Look, this is actually an error, and this is what it should be." So, yeah, I can tell you right now, I probably won't be awake at midnight checking the prices. If I am awake, I will, but generally I'm sleepy bob eyes by then. But yeah, have fun.
Everyone that is going to stay awake, enjoy it. Have fun.
Yeah, I was just going to say, where's Barbara? Barbara, I think Barbara last time she did got everyone together and they had a little Zoom. They had a Zoom shop along.
Party.
I know. I haven't seen Barbara today, so that would be funny. Hilarious. Right. I will be back again tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow is Wednesday. I've actually got a really neat guest along with us tomorrow. Her name is Tabitha. She has a podcast called Murder Knits, and she's American, and she is fabulous. And she has two great loves in her life, which are knitting and true crime. I know Tabitha through something else I'm involved in, and she is so fun. And I just thought it would be really, really neat to have her on board. I love it. She's one of the few podcasts that I watch. I just love it. It makes me smile whenever I see it. So I've got Tabitha tomorrow. Yes, because tomorrow's Wednesday time. Is it Tabitha tomorrow? I'm sure it's Tabitha tomorrow. And then I've got, it must be. Tabitha
it's either Tabitha or no one.
I know.
You're sitting there waiting for it.
Tabitha. I'm sure it's Tabitha tomorrow. Tabitha tomorrow and Charles the following day, or the following days after that. I can't remember. It's just, I need to look it up.
It's gotten like that.
No,
especially with this weather.
Tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sure it's Tabitha tomorrow. Tabitha tomorrow and Charles the following day. So two doses of American goodness, which will be fun. And then I need to start banging down the doors of the people that have been a bit tardy getting back to me. I'll track them down.
Cool.
It's okay. Well, failing that, we'll probably just get you back and we'll do an update of where we're at with the sale. If we haven't done it. I know, it's just crazy. All right.
Cool.
We're all good.
Good talking to you.
Good talking to you too. See you later, everybody. We'll be back again tomorrow. Take care. Remember, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube if you haven't done that. Don't forget to join the Speakeasy if you haven't done that, because that's where all the fun happens.
Join the Speakeasy, yeah.
Join the Speakeasy. The link to the Speakeasy is in the notes here. And I will see you again tomorrow.